So today, SRAM has launched a whole slew of new gravel products under its Explore collection name. So we've got brand new gearing options, a new suspension fork, a dropper seat post, and brand new carbon fiber rims. All very exciting. And I was hoping to have the bike right here in the UK in my hands, and by now have done a first ride review, have ridden it out on my local trails, got it muddy, got it dirty, got it dusty, not much chance at the moment, it's raining pretty heavy. But unfortunately, the bike is held up somewhere between SRAM HQ and my home. So hopefully it's still winging its way to me, and in the next few days or weeks or however long it takes for the bike to arrive, I can give you that actual hands-on review of the bike. So make sure you subscribe to my channel if you want to see that. So we'll start with what SRAM is bringing to the new Explore collection. And mainly we have a brand new 1044 cassette. Now this is the spiritual successor to the old 1042 that came out with Force 1 that SRAM launched many years ago. The first really good dedicated one-by group set for drop bar bikes. First cyclocross and then gravel bikes. But with the move to E-tap, electronic wireless and 12-speed, there's definitely a gap in the range between the current 1036 and the Mullet Eagle setup of a 1050 or 1052. But now we have a 1044, which really hits that sweet spot. The new cassette is available at two levels, 1271 and 1251. So lighter but more expensive depending on what your priorities are and how deep your pockets are. And does require a new rear mech to use a brand new cassette. You can't use a current rear mech for this new cassette, you need a brand new rear mech. So we have Red, Force and Rival versions, and the main change are bigger pulley wheels to accommodate the extra sprocket range. But all the other technology is the same. It's worth reiterating that this is a 1x only setup. It's not compatible with 2x, and that is according to SRAM, although I'm sure some people will push the limits, the boundaries of what is possible and try and modify it to 2x, but it's very much a 1x only offering. And that is fine for me. As many of you know, I'm a fan of 1x. The simplicity works for me. The shortcomings aren't really an issue for me, but this definitely removes many of the shortcomings and makes 1x much more feasible for those people who are put off by 1x so far. The new cassette offers a massive 440% range, with the sprockets tuned for a closer setup down the business end when you're going really fast on the road, then a smooth progression up to the climbing gears when you really need the lowest gears, and the gaps between those aren't so important. There are brand new cranksets that go with this brand new cassette and rear mech as well. With Red and Force 1x cranks using a direct mount chainring design with options for chainrings from 38 up to 46. Why direct mount? Because it's safe weight according to SRAM, and you can easily upgrade to a power meter if you want as well. And we have the usual narrow wide teeth profile and dub bottom bracket standards. There's also a Force 1 wide crankset which increases tire clearance with a wider spindle and can also be upgraded to a power meter. Now we've had suspension forks on gravel bikes already. Fox did one a few years ago and so did MRP, and there's a few other options in the marketplace. And the jury is probably still out on whether suspension is worth it on a gravel bike, whether you can offer a bit of suspension because smoother is faster of course, and comfort is a factor of gravel bikes for many people, not interested in racing but bikepacking where comfort is a priority. So RockShox has developed the brand new Rudy Explore fork. It's a fork designed from the ground up for gravel, from the structural design to the air spring inside it. The Rudy comes in 30 and 40mm travel options and uses super skinny 30mm fork legs, where 32 to 38 are commonplace on mountain bikes where stiffness is a factor. But weight is a factor on a gravel bike, and also keeping the looks in keeping with a normal gravel fork, whether steel or carbon fiber. So not super chunky at the front, nice and slender in keeping with the looks of a drop bar bike. Inside we have the Solo air spring with a lockout and a company's own Charger race day damper tuned for gravel riding. The fork has clearance for 50mm tyres on a 700cc rim. You can fit a mudguard, short or long, and it comes in two colours and is e-bike approved, which shows how strong the fork is despite the low weight. Now I've not used carbon in the construction, which they could have done because they do on a SID fork, the mountain bike fork, but it's done an extended machine to keep the weight as low as possible. Now personally, I think there's space for some suspension on a gravel bike without stepping on the toes of a mountain bike, like a Specialized Diverge with the Future Shock, that BMC Unrestricted with the soft tail, and also the Redshift suspension stem and seat post that I've currently been testing. Review on that coming soon. So I think there's space for some suspension without going full mountain bike, which the RockShox approach seems to offer. And now there's a brand new dropper seat post in the gravel party, the Reverb Access. Now, as you might know, dropper seat posts, where you adjust the height of the seat post to lower saddle for technical descent, are commonplace on mountain bikes of all types and varieties, from short travel race bikes right up to heavy hitting enduro bikes. Really, it's hard to ride a mountain bike without a dropper post these days. They are so good, real game changing product. And we've seen a few gravel bikes being spec'd with dropper seat posts, but they haven't yet caught on. But maybe they might now. RockShox is investing in a proper dedicated gravel bike dropper post. So RockShox, rather than shrinking down its mountain bike Reverb seat post, has designed a brand new seat post from the ground up for gravel riding, so tuned to the requirements of gravel bikes. So firstly, it's a 27.2mm diameter, so that fits in most gravel bike frames, and a choice of two travel drop options, 50 and 75mm. It's a wireless seat post and uses the same battery as the rear mechs and front mechs, and you can use the smartphone app to integrate it into your bike. You can also customize how it works, and you operate it via a remote lever on the drops or the hoods. So integration is really nice, easy, and looks the part as well. But the really neat and really fascinating feature, and something I can't wait to try because it's hard to get your head around it when you're reading the details on the press release, is something dubbed Active Ride. So essentially, when a seat post is in a full extension, it's locked out. There's no movement at all until you press the lever and drop it. However, if you drop the seat post just 1mm below that full extended height, you get suspension. It becomes a suspension seat post. So you get cushioning, which is great when you're riding over rough gravel, roots and rocks. You get a bit of movement, a bit of suspension, a bit of comfort. That will reduce fatigue on long rides and make riding over rutted fields, which I ride a lot around here, much more pleasant than it currently is on a fixed seat post. And really, it's something I need to get my hands on and really get out there in the real world and ride it and see how it works and see whether it's a gimmick or whether it's actually a truly game-changing feature. A seat post is both a dropper post, so more clearance when you're riding technical steep trails, but also a suspension seat post, so when you're riding rough gravel, really corrugated stuff, you get more comfort than a fixed rigid seat post. So it sounds amazing, it sounds incredible, I can't wait to try it, but there will be a review on it coming very soon, of course. And last but not least, we have a brand new wheel set from Zipp, the 101 XPLR, to round out this family of products. But first, give me a show of hands for those of you who remember the 101 the first time it was used by the company. So, not a new name, but a brand new product and a really interesting and intriguing product as well. The company has used the 3.0 Moto carbon fiber technology that it developed and debuted on a mountain bike line a few years ago. Now, most conventional rims are a box section rim, but 3.0 Moto is a single wall rim, so a really flat, wide profile inspired by motocross rims which have this same profile. And the main benefit of that single wall profile versus a more conventional box section rim is that you can tune the compliance of the rim. So essentially the rim can move a lot more when you're riding over rough ground and give a smoother, more compliant ride over rough gravel, roots and rocks. And you might think it's a gimmick, but I've ridden the mountain bike version and it works extremely well. Even with big chunky tyres and lots of suspension, you can feel the benefits of those rims versus a normal, much stiffer rim. Gives a sort of floaty ride, magic carpet feel. So that technology brought to a gravel bike could be absolutely perfect when used in unison with the new suspension fork, and that suspension dropper seat post could give a silky smooth ride over the roughest gravel. And I know comfort is a key priority for many people buying gravel bikes, so the more comfort we can eke out of rims, suspension seat posts and forks, as well as the tyres of course, could be a good thing. Clearly the rim isn't an aerodynamic rim in any shape or form. It's designed for compliance, designed for better ride quality over aero. Now aero is becoming an increasingly important factor for many gravel bikes, and many people racing gravel at the pointy end where the speeds are pretty impressive considering they're riding on gravel. But for many people, I think comfort is more important. And even if you are racing over 200 miles or 200 kilometers over rough, washable gravel, it's really worth thinking about the comfort factor or the fatigue. And the same way that the pros really approach races like Paris-Roubaix, where yes, it might only be 50 kilometers or pavé compared to 200 kilometers of road, the way the cobbles really sap your energy, really beat you up, can leave you feeling pretty battered at the end of the ride. So the more you can do to leave yourself feeling fresh, less battered, less beaten up, and less fatigued from riding over that rough ground, the fresher you can feel, and the more you can go faster over longer rides. The wheel set comes in 700C and 650B wheel sizes and weighs a respectable 1665 grams for the former. I'll put all the weights and details down below. There's also a tyre width option, the choice of 2 colours, and a lifetime warranty as well. So those are the brand new SRAM XPLR products, and to recap, got brand new gearing options, 1044 at long last, new suspension fork, new dropper and suspension seat post all in one, and a brand new set of wheels. And worth adding, the company already has some XPLR products in gravel tyres and a flared drop handlebar as well. So a nice family of products. And hopefully I'll be testing this family of products on a bike very soon as it arrives from SRAM HQ, sadly held up for some reason. You know the world we live in is a bit crazy at the moment. So make sure you subscribe to my channel if you want to see a real world review of these products coming up very soon. But in the meantime, do let me know what you think of SRAM's new product today. Are you loving what they've launched, or are you not sure? Let me know if you've got any questions down below. Anyway, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all again very soon.